I am having a wonderful, wonderful chat already, and you haven't even, that was off the record, with pianist Wendy Chen. She is going to be the piano soloist in George Gershwin's amazing Concerto in F that we're going to talk about a little later with the Santa Barbara Chamber Orchestra. It's going to be the opening concert of the 2016-2017 season in Santa Barbara. Santa Barbara Chamber Orchestra, Saturday evening, October 8th at 7:30. That's when the concert begins. But more importantly, there is a pre-party, a season opening party that starts at 5:30, and you can get tickets for not only for the concert but for the pre-party through the Libero. I'll give you all that. All you people out there in Southern California, I'll give you all that info. But I can tell you, all of you watching, listening, the Santa Barbara Chamber Orchestra gives the best parties ever. So this is going to be a fabulous opening of the season pre-party at 5:30 at the Libero Theater. Let me give you some ticket info, some pricing, and so on. Again, Wendy will be speaking to us in a minute, but I'm with pianist Wendy Chen. She's going to play the Concerto in F of Gershwin. And then there's going to be one other work on that incredible program that Heiichiro Oyama is going to be conducting. This is, I think, his 33rd season or more. We kind of all lost track. That by itself is a milestone with this conductor. Being with this orchestra for so long. They love him to pieces. Everybody loves Heiichiro Oyama. He's a superb musician. I wander. Opening night, again, I'm just a little bit repetitious. Saturday, October 8th, party 5:30. Costs $75, well worth it. Lots of good drinks, lots of good eats. The State Street Ballet is going to do some kind of presentation. That's on the front terrace at 5:30. $75. It costs you, well worth it. Concert begins at 7:30. With Wendy Chen, and as I was starting to say, the last piece on the program, Dvorak's New World Symphony. So you've got Gershwin's Concerto in F, a masterpiece of the American piano concerto repertoire, and then the whole second half is Dvorak from the New World. His experience in America in the 1890s is marvelous. Libero Theater, here's the box office number for everybody. In Santa Barbara, the area code is 805. And the telephone number for the Libero Theater box office is 805-963-0761. Call quickly, because this is, I'm certain, is going to be a sellout very, very quickly. And the Chamber Orchestra uses the term roaring into life for the 2016-2017 season, and they are not kidding. Okay, tickets, you can get all that information. Tickets for the concert at 7:30 are $54 and $64. It's a deal. You can buy all of this on the website for the Libero Theater in downtown Santa Barbara, the historic Libero Theater, at www.sbco.org. Look at how patient Wendy Chen has been. Let's get going. You debuted as a young pianist at the age of 15 with the Los Angeles Philharmonic Orchestra, Andre Previn. Your world has been going gangbusters ever since, performances all over the place. As Maestro Oyama has said, the beauty of your great talent is that you're a superb chamber musician, you're a superb piano soloist, you're playing a solo repertoire, and a superb concerto soloist. So you've got it all. I asked you off camera, but just tell me, I kind of wonder, all this moving around, a big worldwide career. Apparently you have settled a bit. You are in Arizona, in Phoenix, right?
That's correct, yes. After decades of performing and running around the world and 5 months away at a time, living on an airplane and from a suitcase, I'm kind of the farm now.
That's good, and I guess the part of a wonderful career is that you travel a lot. It's hard to settle down,
Yes.
find out who you are. Really, I guess Phoenix is a good place to do that. Can you remember? You've been working with Heiichiro Oyama for several years now, making chamber music together. You played with the Santa Barbara Chamber Orchestra some years back. I dare not try and remember how many years back. So this is going to be a great homecoming. But can you remember those first couple of musical collaborations that you had with conductor, violist Heiichiro Oyama?
I cannot remember a time where I have not known Heiichiro. That is our history, and it's been so interwoven and so organic and spanning over, I would dare say, decades.
Mm-hmm.
um, as you said, within chamber music, as a soloist, as a collaborator. We've actually played in chamber music together, and he's always been so generous to continuously support me and invite me to be a part of his musical world. And I'm just ever appreciative, even though I would even say that I'm sort of in my broadcast years, honestly. And so,
That sounds good, but I think I get you.
yes, I mean, our our line of work has changed quite a bit since I've known, and certainly people before myself. And it's different, but I think that with the people that I do hold dear, that I've met over so many decades, that you continue to want to make music together and find that meaning and depth that we value.
And let's just talk about depth in terms of Heiichiro Oyama, working with Oyama.
Yes.
Give me the magic. I've watched it for many, many decades now. It's the brilliance of his musicianship, the uncompromising musicianship. Tell me a little more about what it's like to work with that man.
Right, absolutely. Uncompromising and brilliant musicianship are perfect words because he truly does go to the depth of studying the history, the influence, the inspiration, every angle, every instrument. He knows exactly what's going on, and he doesn't let anything get by him because he's so curious, first of all, and he's such a learned person, musician, and he is that way in life, I think, with food, with wine,
Yes.
everything. He's just curious and interested, and I think that keeps one very you know intelligent and learning and forward moving.
And
Absolutely.
he knows exactly what he wants.
Yes,
It's
absolutely.
very, very clear. And also, he, in my view anyway, he conducts exactly what he wants. If you
Yes.
understand my drift. Everything is expressed with that body and those hands, and the orchestra responds instantly to this intellect.
Right, right. And it's inspiring to us musicians around him because you want to certainly bring your A game and know what you're doing and not just make a couple pretty sounds.
Exactly. Let's talk about some pretty sounds. That
Okay.
Gershwin Concerto in F, and
Yes.
I may be giving away too much about my own idiocy, perhaps, but it has taken me quite a while to all of a sudden, at one point, maybe 10 years ago or something, realize that this Concerto in F is the real piano masterpiece of Gershwin's output. We all know Rhapsody in Blue. It's marvelous. It's exciting, but the Concerto in F is that deep thinker that was George Gershwin, also in so many works like Porgy and Bess. Tell me about putting that work together. How hard is it? How accessible is it in terms of Gershwin's understanding of the piano? Give me an overview of putting this piano concerto together.
Absolutely. Well, the brilliance of the Rhapsody in Blue is what influenced the birth of the concerto, actually, because the great director conductor Walter Damrosch was at this performance, right? I believe in New York City
With
in
the
1920.
jazz
Yeah,
band and the whole thing.
that evening, and he was there and so blown away by this Rhapsody in Blue premiere that he commissioned this future concerto in F, which he gave him within 1 year to come up with. So by 1925, and talk about roaring. I mean, you have the Roaring Twenties, and you between the two world wars. I mean, it's kind of an epic time in our history here and the world. Um, and then I believe that, of course, the era of jazz and that coming too. And you have the influence in the three movements, first of all, that it's so classically structured while being pseudo jazz for us classical musicians. You have in the first movement just the influence of the Charleston, the dance. Now you have cars coming into the fore. And so now jazz is being born. And the second movement is a true blues movement. And the third movement, I mean, just all out ragtime. And in a way, it's sort of the only chance that I, as a classical musician, get to pretend I play jazz. And it's just such an incredible piece. And there's so much more of the structure. The Rhapsody in Blue, obviously, in one movement and about 20 minutes long. And this is about 30, and a much bigger work. Preparation, yes, a tiny bit trickier.
Hmm.
Just a couple licks here and there that one
Ah,
has to just sort of, get right. The Rhapsody in Blue in my memory now that actually I have to play next summer. A little bit more straightforward,
hmm.
and but not easy by any means. And Gershwin was a great pianist, and so I believe he probably wrote whatever he could do. And I think the concerto was originally for two pianos, and then he had to orchestrate it thereafter, just in a very quick amount of time, also for this commission to be ready by 1925. Just a whirlwind of a piece, and just considering all the world events, just an incredible amalgamation, really, of the times.
How hard is it on your body, on physically? Is it a brute?
I would say not very hard. Comparatively, if you're speaking the Rachmaninoff
Ah,
3 and those and Prokofiev's or Beethoven's,
yeah.
in a way, because there's that sort of um, one gets to let go a bit, coming from that
Which is
very.
hard, which is very hard.
It's hard in some ways, but at the same time, muscularly speaking, it's nice because you just sort of get to let go. You don't have the rigidity of um, absolute form like Beethoven and Mozart. I mean, the form is there, the structure is there, but you also have the times which were changing, which included the Charleston, the ragtime, that in that way one can sort of, let go.
Yeah,
And so that's a real fun part for us.
yeah. Wonderful. Very, very good analysis of preparation of that work. And I'm speaking with you, Wendy, but we all know that the big Dvorak symphony is going to be spectacular in Oyama's hands, literally.
Right.
So the program is going to be fabulous. Let me just ask you one last little thing. People are so curious always. You know, your bio, as I mentioned off camera, is very much here and now, and how busy you are, and NPR engagements, and you're on the committee for the National Endowment for the Arts. So, I mean, wonderful, wonderful things. You're obviously very active in the world, even in addition to being a performing musician. You're engaged intellectually with the world. But everybody's always curious about that, what it was, when it was, who it was that said to you or that inspired you to say, this thing, I'm going to be a concert pianist. Give us that little story if you can, please.
Oh, well, thank you for all the kind words. I think it was quite organic for me, the process. There was no true aha moment. It was something in my life that I seem to always take to very naturally. And I was so grateful for that because there were other things such as math, algebra, and even social studies, wherein when one has not traveled as much, there was just not that application as easily as piano lessons. And right there in front of me, and I was told I had perfect pitch from a very young age. I actually did not speak English until I was about 8. Although I was born in California, I'm a California girl at heart.
It's
Um,
very interesting.
and yeah, it's an incredible story, and I really am so grateful to my parents. My mother, in particular, insisted we keep our language, and I really do try to keep a worldview because I hope it's just very much relevant to everything we do, should be.
Yes.
And in any case, with piano, because of the language barrier and lack of identity with other kids, perhaps, there was always a piano somewhere in a corner. And somehow by ear, I had taken to it without formal lessons just yet until I was aged 4. And thereafter, I just felt very natural and at home with it. And I'm so thankful to my mom that she was not your typical tiger mom. I did not have to practice 9 hours a day at the age of 6. And really just to get my work done, quality over quantity, maybe half an hour tops. And I took that with me, and I just think that I followed what seemed to come my way, and I followed each success with another, and I took that as a sign that perhaps I should follow this and also very much appreciate it as the gift that was given, whether by way of nature or my parents' dedication and hard work and blood, sweat, and tears, really investing in my lessons, which, by the way, were twice a week. By the time I was a senior in high school, twice a week, 9 hours each lesson. So I had 18 hours of lessons a week. Yes. By then I had actually,
Let me
I
get
had
my head
actually,
around that. Wow.
yes, I had taken a GED. I was out of school, so I was just focusing on piano by then. and I was studying with the great Abi Serko, who was Leon Fleischer's teacher, who was Schnabel's assistant, and this whole
Oh,
incredible lineage that I feel like I get to be in the history books because of them. And that world does not exist any longer, and I have to be grateful for it and keep on with it.
absolutely. Well, you spoke to many things, including that how the piano succored you, if that's the right word. But what a safe place maybe the piano been, and what a communicative instrument it was
Absolutely.
for you as a kid.
Absolutely.
That's really brilliant. And then gratitude to these teachers. Those you've described uh, teachers who are from and were from another generation, Oregon. So you have a certain responsibility. Well, it's been absolutely great. We could chat forever, but of course, people have about 3 minute attention span. So look, I'm going to, Wendy, if you'll just give me a moment, I'm going to try this time to be a little more coherent and concise in the information that everybody in Southern California watching this needs to know. Santa Barbara Chamber Orchestra, really one of the most wonderful professional chamber orchestras, certainly on the West Coast, certainly. Conductor Heiichiro Oyama, uh, a marvel to watch. The intensity of his intellect, the beauty of his conducting, the superb results he gets from musicians. Santa Barbara Chamber Orchestra season opening concert for 2016-17 in the historic Libero Theater in downtown Santa Barbara. The program begins at 7:30. There is a kick something or other party at 5:30. I know it's going to be a wonderful party, and there's nothing better than having a party and then going to the concert. But 5:30 is the party, 7:30 is the concert. Concerto in F, George Gershwin, Wendy is going to be performing. Symphony Number 9 from the New World of Dvorak is the second half of the program. Libero Theater box office, let me give you that telephone number. The area code is 805 in Santa Barbara. Telephone number for the box office is 963-0761. You can buy tickets for the concert and for the party if there are any tickets left. Or go to the Libero Theater website. It's www.libero.com. And have a look. And of course, go to the Chamber Orchestra site. It's very simple, sbco.org. And you can see this lineup for this year. It's magnificent this season. Wendy Chen, many, many thanks for giving me a few minutes from Phoenix, Arizona. A great delight. I'm really looking forward to seeing and hearing you play Gershwin's Concerto in F on Saturday, October 8th in the Libero Theater. Thanks.
Thank you, Dan. Appreciate it.
Bye.
Bye.